All right, on to B14. We're getting close to having the front clip done here. We are going to install the front bumper setup. First thing we're going to do is move the chassis out of the way. If you'll notice, I reinstalled my body post set, so we're all back to normal and all the pieces and parts are put together. So now we are going to install the little mount here onto the front bumper. Pretty straightforward. Screws go through here. There's two of them. Put this one in. I'm going to put it in until it snugs up. Put the second one in. And then we are going to attach this to the bottom of the chassis, or the top of the chassis, and to a spot on the diff housing here. You take it like this, we slide the front portion into the little slot here. You can see, goes right in here. And then there's lines on the top of the diff housing. Hey, my screwdriver actually fit into a screw properly. Amazing. Put this one in. We are almost done here. 3 more screws. And as I say that, my screwdriver does not fit. Hex driver does not fit properly into this screw. Okay, now we're going to turn it over, and we should align properly with the screw holes underneath here, which I am not aligning properly because I have to just wiggle it in a little bit more. Come on. Maybe I should have put the bottom screws in first. Now it doesn't want to align. Come on. It's at the wrong angle. You know what? Let's back up. Always better to back up than to force something. We're going to put the bottom screws in first. A little bit of an alignment problem because the top is pulling the bumper into a little bit different position than it wants to go to be aligned properly. So let's start by putting the bottom ones in first. There we go. Our holes will line up properly, very simply like that. Screws in and then reattach the top. Come on, baby. Thread. There we go. Threads through the bumper plate and then into the diff housing. Again, these screws don't want my nut driver to push all the way in. And it's easy to strip a head out, so you got to be real careful. Just till it's snug. Come on. It's frustrating. Like I said, I changed tool sets earlier, and that didn't make a difference. Okay. Now, let's get this top reconnected and we're going to be all done. Okay, one more to go. And there we have it. We have the entire front clip together. Okay, this is what it should look like. All right, there we go. On to the next step. All right, on to our next step. We have finished the bee bag. You should have no parts left over. I had none, nor should you have any parts left over. So now we are going to go to the sea bag and open the sea bag. It's a fairly small bag. And just to spare you, I've gone ahead and pre-assembled the diff, which is very much like the diff that we did in the beginning for the front. This is the center diff. Do pay attention, there's a couple little differences. There is a tiny shim that's going to fit underneath the bearing on this unit. Don't forget to use that shim. And then as you're putting it together, the gear is going to be a little bit different. So just pay attention to the gear that you're using, and it is a plastic gear, and it all goes together well. Don't forget, and of course, advertisement time, to use your Team FastEddy or FastEddy bearings, LOSI 10 SCTE sealed bearing kit. It will be a pleasure and an experience in your RC life to use bearings from FastEddyBearings.com. Alright, now that that's out of the way, I'm a whore. Okay, we are going to go ahead and we've already done C3. We've gotten the entire diff together, going to make sure that there's no binding, everything is smooth. Anytime we put together moving parts, we want to make sure that there is no issue with them. Next, we are going to assemble the center motor mount assembly. Voila. And our first part here is the diff. We're going to set it the same way that we see here. Now we're going to grab the little plastic mount, and we are going to insert the bearing into here, which the bearing is already on the diff. So make note of the diff, make note of this unit. We're going to slide them together, just like so. Should operate freely. Okay, now things are getting more difficult. We are going to grab the metal motor mount. Very nice looking, well machined unit. We're going to look for the place where the bearing goes. Back side is here, front side is where the bearing goes, or the inside. And we are going to slide this over the bearing on the gear side of the diff. Make sure that it pops into place. We're going to set this down on our table just like so. Okay, you got that? Just like that. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Now, we are going to grab somewhere here these two pieces. Voila. We're going to take a look. This piece has a little bump on the top. That is literally the top. Doesn't matter which way it goes. It's going to sit down on here. like that, with the holes lined up. We're going to grab this unit, and I don't really think that it matters which way it goes on, and that's going to set right up there, just like so. Now we are going to grab 4 screws out of our bag. And we are going to fasten it. How do you like that word? We're going to fasten it. Now all we have to do is find the right fastener wrench and hope that it fits into the screws, which it doesn't. Got to wiggle that little puppy on there. I think somebody came in and shrunk my screws. Go ahead and screw this one in. Actually, the fact is that that is a metal-to-metal connection, so we should use Loctite. Another tight one here. Put some Loctite on there. And again, this is on the forward motor mount, is a metal mount. So you're going to want to use the Loctite there. Ah! These heads just do not fit in at all. It's kind of aggravating. Okay. Actually going to take this one back out and put some Loctite on it. Whee! You like that? I just flung Loctite all over my bench. Yeah. Okay, that one's all nice and tight. Now we're going to put, these are plastic to or metal to plastic, so we're not going to need Loctite. Aggravating. Okay, got that one snug down. Put this last one in here and we'll move on to the next part of our adventure. Almost done. Okay, snug down. So now we have our diff mounted into the housing. Going to give it a spin. Should spin freely without binding. If it's binding up, pull it out, find out why, get it taken care of. Alright, on to the next step.